September 1st, 2025. At 13:47 hours in the contested waters of the Black Sea, the unthinkable happened. The USS Gerald R. Ford carrier strike group found itself completely surrounded by 23 Russian warships that had emerged from the fog like ghosts from the Cold War. Admiral Sergei Volkov, commanding the Russian Black Sea Fleet, had executed the most audacious naval maneuver since the Cuban Missile Crisis. His forces, 6 guided missile destroyers, 8 frigates, 4 submarines, and 5 fast attack craft, had achieved what Moscow called tactical encirclement of America's most powerful naval asset. For 8 minutes and 37 seconds, 50,000 tons of American naval power faced 180,000 tons of Russian steel in a standoff that brought the world to the brink of World War III. One wrong move could have ignited a conflict that would reshape civilization forever. How did the Russians achieve complete surprise? What prevented nuclear war in those crucial 8 minutes? Join me in discovering the truth behind the standoff that nearly ended the world. 1340 hours. The USS Gerald R. Ford cut through calm Black Sea waters at 18 knots, her flight deck bustling with routine operations. Captain Mark Martinez commanded the centerpiece of a strike group worth $35 billion, 6,000 sailors representing the pinnacle of American naval power. The mission was routine, Operation Sea Breeze, a freedom of navigation patrol. Intelligence indicated normal Russian activity, with most Black Sea Fleet units in port. The Americans had no reason to expect trouble. 1342 hours. Lieutenant Commander David Chen, monitoring radar from an E-2D Hawkeye 25,000 feet above, noticed impossible contacts emerging from empty ocean. "Ford Control, Hawkeye 1, Chen transmitted. "I'm showing 23 surface combatants in coordinated formation, bearing 045 through 135. Russian warships were materializing from nowhere, forming a perfect circle around the American strike group. Electronic warfare had masked their approach while careful coordination achieved tactical surprise against the world's most advanced naval force. 1345 hours. Admiral James Patterson stared at his tactical display in disbelief. Red symbols representing Russian warships surrounded his strike group in what tacticians would call the perfect trap. The Russian force was overwhelming. Missile cruiser Moskva II with 164 launch cells, 6 frigates carrying 32 caliber missiles each, 8 corvettes with anti-ship missiles, and 4 submarines that had penetrated American sonar screens. "We're completely surrounded," reported Captain Martinez. "Russian forces at all compass points, 8 to 15 nautical miles out." If you were commanding the American fleet, would you break out immediately or attempt to negotiate? Tell me in the comments. 1346 hours. Aboard Moskva II, Admiral Volkov watched his display with satisfaction. Operation Koltso, Ring, had achieved complete success. The first time since World War II that Russian forces achieved tactical superiority over an American carrier group. Months of planning had paid off. Electronic warfare created false signatures while ships moved under weather cover. Submarine decoys confused sonar, while coordinated timing allowed 23 warships to achieve simultaneous positioning. 1347 hours. Volkov transmitted on emergency frequencies. "American warships, you are surrounded and outgunned. You are operating in waters claimed by the Russian Federation. Consider your position carefully." The message activated crisis teams worldwide. In Washington, the Pentagon went to high alert. In Moscow, the Defense Ministry activated emergency protocols. NATO headquarters convened as 2 nuclear powers faced off at sea. Before you discover how close we came to World War III, please support us by liking and subscribing to the channel. 1347 hours. Admiral Patterson responded professionally. "Admiral Volkov, we are conducting lawful operations in international waters. We do not recognize territorial claims and will continue our mission." 1348 hours. Russian Su-30 fighters appeared overhead, flying 500 feet above American ships. The message was clear. Russians controlled sea and air. On Ford's deck, FA-18 Super Hornets armed and ready, pilots strapped in with engines running. 1349 hours. The first critical moment. Russian submarine Rostov-on-Don achieved firing position 1,200 yards from Ford's starboard side, torpedo tubes loaded with wake-homing weapons capable of breaking a carrier's back. Simultaneously, USS Virginia detected the Russian submarine and achieved its own firing solution. Two attack submarines faced each other in underwater chests that could trigger surface combat involving 29 warships. 1350 hours. Both sides escalated. Russian Tu-95 bombers appeared 200 miles away carrying Kh-101 cruise missiles. American B-52s changed course toward the Black Sea with JASSM missiles capable of striking Russian bases. 1351 hours. The most dangerous moment. Russian corvette Sovetsk experienced radar malfunction, briefly painting USS Arleigh Burke as incoming missile. For 23 seconds, weapons systems automatically tracked the destroyer while preparing to engage. Captain Markov had his finger on the firing button when operators realized the error. Those 23 seconds were the closest to nuclear war since the Cuban Missile Crisis. 1352 hours. The Washington-Moscow hotline activated. President Trump spoke directly with Putin. Neither wanted war, but neither could appear weak. 1353 hours. Admiral Volkov proposed a solution. Russian fleet withdraws to 25 nautical miles while Americans alter course to avoid misunderstandings. 1354 hours. Putin responded first. Admiral Volkov has demonstrated Russian capability. Fleet may withdraw. Trump authorized, accept Russian proposal and continue mission with course adjustment. 1355 hours. The last minute was most dangerous. As Russian ships withdrew, complex naval choreography created multiple miscalculation opportunities. 1356. Critical moment, submarine Rostov-on-Don began withdrawal. Submarine movements are inherently threatening, as depth and course changes can indicate attack preparations. 1357. Standoff ended when Volkov transmitted, Russian forces withdrawing to international distance. We trust there will be no further misunderstandings. Patterson responded, we acknowledge your withdrawal. American forces will continue lawful operations. 1400 hours. The most dangerous naval standoff since the Cold War was over. For 8 minutes and 37 seconds, the world balanced on nuclear war's edge. Intelligence revealed Russian sophistication. Operation Koltso required months of preparation, coordinated movements, and electronic warfare to achieve tactical surprise against the world's most advanced naval force. The standoff demonstrated both naval power's continued relevance and extreme dangers of great power competition. It revealed American vulnerabilities while showing how quickly routine operations could escalate to global war's brink. For involved sailors and officers, the 8-minute standoff became a defining moment. They had maintained discipline while staring into global conflict's abyss. The incident proved that tactical surprise remained possible through careful planning, that human judgment was the ultimate safeguard against accidental war, and that the world remained minutes away from civilization-ending conflicts. The crisis passed, but lessons endured. In a world armed with unprecedented destructive power, there was no margin for error and no substitute for the wisdom that prevented 8 minutes from becoming humanity's final chapter. For those who want to understand the tools of war behind this standoff, here's a closer look at the weapons that defined those 8 minutes. USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, America's newest supercarrier, displacing 100,000 tons, carrying over 70 aircraft, and powered by 2 nuclear reactors. She represents unmatched naval power projection. E-2D Hawkeye, the airborne eyes of the fleet. With its advanced radar, it can track hundreds of targets, and in this crisis, it was the first to see the encirclement forming. Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. Equipped with the Aegis combat system and over 90 missile cells, these destroyers provide layered defense against air, surface, and subsurface threats. Virginia-class submarine. Silent hunters beneath the waves, armed with torpedoes and cruise missiles. One shadowed Russian submarines at point-blank range during the crisis. Moskva II missile cruiser, flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet. With 164 vertical launch cells, it could unleash a devastating salvo of anti-ship and surface-to-air missiles. Kaliber cruise missiles, Russia's long-range precision strike weapons, carried by frigates and submarines, capable of hitting ships or land targets with deadly accuracy. Corvette Sovetsk, small but dangerous, bristling with anti-ship missiles. A radar malfunction aboard nearly triggered open conflict in a matter of seconds. Rostov-on-Don submarine, a diesel-electric Kilo-class sub, infamous for its stealth. At just 1,200 yards from Ford, it held torpedoes that could have shattered the carrier in an instant. Su-30 fighters, agile, twin-engine multi-role fighters, their low-level flyovers sent an unmistakable warning that Russia controlled the skies. Tu-95 Bear bombers, Soviet-era giants updated with Kh-101 cruise missiles. Their approach raised the confrontation from regional tension to global threat. Kh-101 cruise missiles, Russia's stealthy long-range strike weapon, able to carry conventional or nuclear warheads designed to bypass defenses and strike deep. B-52 Stratofortress, a Cold War legend still flying. Loaded with JASSM missiles, it symbolized America's ability to retaliate anywhere, anytime. AGM-158 JASSM missiles, stealthy, precision-guided standoff weapons, capable of slipping past enemy air defenses to hit critical targets. Together, these platforms and weapons transformed a routine patrol into a confrontation where any misstep could have unleashed catastrophe. If you found this analysis compelling, subscribe for more military coverage. Like and share so others understand how close we came to global catastrophe.